maybe this Marcy hero is just a little bit too broken. That's what I'll put it down to.
Let's find out. It's mid-Marcy, the first time that we're going to be having it at the tournament, as far as I know. It is OD, the absolutely first time we're having it at this tournament. And of course, it is game number 2 between Tundra and TSM. Personally, I just want this to be a Tundra win so that we can keep the 1-1 train going. I would love to end the day with every single squad tied up. So let us get into it. This is going to be very fun to watch. They smoked up from TSM. They know how important this early phase of the game can be. I'm still quite intrigued by exactly how they plan to play this Marcy from the mid lane. Do you build up similarly to what we saw Saberlight doing game 1? Where you go BKB, Basher, Blink, just do the same thing?
I think that's the kind of only way that you can play these kind of core Marcies. You just go BKB, Basher into a Blink Dagger and maybe get like an Aghanim Scepter or something like that. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of iffy about this mid-Marcy, because I'm not really sure what the kind of item progression is going to be past those 2 items. Usually a lot of the time when you see these offlane Marcies or these core Marcies, the game's kind of over by the time you get that like kind of second or third item. So I wouldn't hate to see Brawl go something like maybe even an Armlet into BKB and do that kind of stuff. I also hate to be the bearer of bad news here, Snare, but your Group B being completely even has already been broken by some other teams in Group B. So... no matter the way this is going to go, yeah, there's been some 2-0s. There's been unfortunately it's a sad times. Times. We don't get the perfectly balanced as all things should be. But I definitely feel like this could be a 1-1 between both these two teams. Tomato popped off today on the Morphling already. So I'm interested to see if he's going to have another one of those straight-up games. But I think this is a good game for Tundra to have a lot of these heroes that can deal with the Morphling. They've got the OD, they've got the Tiny, they've also got the Kaona as well. So a lot of good answers for the Morphling. It's all about how Tomato plays this one around.
We'll see the execution as well coming in from all of the players on the side of Tundra. This draft that they've got to themselves, certainly not one that plays out just by itself. You have to move around the map very intelligently. Team fighting, not that easy for them, so targeting on single target has to be absolutely perfect. In this mid lane, we see 9 just taking on Brow here. Intuitively, I would imagine that OD should come out the better in this laning phase here. Not really that much to fear from the Marcy. You just keep banishing her whenever you want to go in for denies. So no reason not to just keep doing that pretty much in perpetuity as this OD here.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that Nine's just going to have a relatively okay mid-matchup, just being able to, as you said, Aster imprison the Marcy. He never really is going to have an issue unless there's going to be a rotation maybe coming in from Moon Meander here. But from what we've seen so far from Moon and Saberlight, they like to stay in their lane as long as possible, just being able to put a lot of pressure on towards any of the safe laners they're going up against and kind of just leave Bryle in his own little bubble. And if he ever does have any scenarios where they need to make a TP, then that's when they make the rotation. But Saberlight, he's in trouble.
In trouble. Yeah, he's going to end up being the first blood in this bottom lane. They froze him up, they stunned him up, and they killed him off. And Leander couldn't really do too much to stop him. At the same time, TSM have been applying a lot of pressure to the top side of the map. Tomato and Dubu have 4 Saksa and 33 to play in between the tier 1 and the tier 2 towers. And when you're in this position, it's like, well, what I can do is just watch this Morphling farm in front of my face. Jack else I can do about the situation. Still though, it feels fine. I feel like them being able to lose out on that first blood, it hurts a lot, but provided he doesn't die again soon thereafter, I think Saberlight should be okay, especially because, like you mentioned, he's probably going to be playing with Moon Meander nearby him all the time, so no space for these big rotations towards middle. As top lane, Saksa try to toss back Dubu towards the tier 1. They lack the damage to get the kill at the end. Saksa almost died himself. Got pinned down to about 30 HP, but Tomato does not want to dive the tower just yet. It will allow him to live.
Yeah, no levels in the waveform for Tomato just yet, but Tomato is doing a good job in this lane. You can see they understand they need to get this pressure going on Moon Meander. Oh, is he going to get away?
Let's see, 3 seconds until we have access to the Chaos Bots again. We've got Mangoes, but he doesn't want to commit for it. Okay. All right, he's fine.
I'll take that. I was going to say, unfortunately, Moon Meander might start to tarnish his good name in this bottom lane, but looks like Saberlight's going to cop the heat.
Oh, no.
Only 1 level in the Drunken Brawler right now. He's also on the Wind Brawler, so he's just hoping for a bit of that extra evasion. So if he gets 15% evasion, then maybe he's able to survive some of these extra goes. Could try and go for the Earth Brawler as well once he gets a few more levels in it, when he gets a bit more of this armor. Obviously, level 1 Drunken Brawler, Earth Brawler in comparison to the Storm Brawler up against the Chaos Knight is you definitely want to be in the Storm Panda form, because 15% evasion is going to be far better than 1 armor. So he's just going to have to make sure that he tries not to chain feed in this bottom lane.
Well, try not to, but Dota's a hard game, man. Anything can happen.
True.
Still see in this mid lane, Nine and Brawl playing around together. It's only 4 minutes in, so they start having to think about who goes where and when. Of course, in terms of making big moves across the map, it would be a lot easier for Tundra if they can connect the OG and the Tiny together. So we might actually see Saksa make his way towards middle once the rune does spawn. I suppose it's about making sure that 33 is safe for now. And Moon Meander might see him do the same. For now, though, everyone's just poking, prodding, farming, chilling, trying to make sure that we do not get ourselves into a position where by the time the mid game hits, we're weaker than we should be otherwise because of some errant decisions made in the laning phase. Now I can respect this. I feel like we've also just had such crazy early brawly games that it's sometimes nice to just get back to just regular old hitting creeps, pulling waves. Just early game though.
Yeah, just some straight up laning between both these two teams. There's hasn't really been a massive blowout in any of these lanes. I think probably the biggest disparity is between Saberlight and Skidder. Obviously with Saberlight going down twice, it doesn't feel good on an offlaner to be dying that many times. But now with 5 minutes coming up, it's night time, 6 minute runes are just about to be coming up, and this is where we're going to see a whole lot more of this extra aggression.
The aggression's going to go towards Nine and first and foremost. They're trying to bring him down. Brawl got some assistance from Moon Meander, but Snake King made a rotation and throwing in the Crystal Nova. It slows down the Marcy. She can't close the gap. Nine taking advantage from this bonus tower protection. That little bit of piece of armor in the region making all the difference in the world as they can't bring down the OD. Nine stays strong. Brawl goes down. And that's Tundra. They're the ones that make the first effective kill onto a core hero. It's always very nice when you're playing mid and you don't have to rotate. The rotations come to you.
Yeah, it's always good when you have this brawl at the 5 minute mark. Usually we see this quite a lot. It's 5 minutes in, gets towards night time. You want to try and make sure you make that rotation for the first power rune at 6 minutes. And you see a lot of these position 4s make their way towards the mid lane to hopefully try and get a kill just before the power runes do spawn, because even as we saw in that scenario there, that Nine had to run himself all the way back towards the base, but it still meant that Briar was able to get the power rune here. And maybe the Marcy, once she hits level 6, she has that unleashed. Now she has the Arcane rune. These side lanes are going to start to open up here for TSM. They just start getting on the board. Tomato's in a good spot right now with his last hits and denies. Already has a Falcon Blade early on, but if they're able to make a rotation towards 33 in this top lane, really start to slow down that Wraith Pack timing for the Visage, then TSM can be in a pretty good spot, because Nine's getting ever closer towards his Hand of Midas here as well on the OD. So he's going to have a whole lot of this extra farm, and Skidder as well is getting closer to an armlet at this point.
We get the armlet, just natural CK build up in this situation. Just enjoying life. It's actually putting pressure onto the Saberlight Brewmaster down bottom. Like that early death, that Saberlight tanked first, and then the secondary one have really done a number on his progression early. He's only level 4 right now versus the level 5 of Skeeter. So he has to be careful about how he positions himself in this way, because he knows that once level 6 hits, they can easily jump in. But Brawl trying to assist him by coming in. The rebound into Dispose combo will not connect flush. Rebound only up again in another 15 seconds. And Skeeter very happy to just leave the lane. He's like, oh, I want this lane, have it, bruv. You can have it at least until Brad leaves, then I want it back. Hiding in the trees right now. I think he's been... Was he scouted? Did Dubu see him? I'm not sure he did. I don't think Dubu knows.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they'd be diving the tower right now if they knew where the Chaos Knight is. So Skidder's just in a kind of awkward spot right now. It seems like he's starting to set up for maybe a rotation that's going to come in here. So the power rune is going to spawn as well here for Tundra. And at the Phantasm, this would be a nice TP coming in from Nine as well. Going to send the OD bottom.
Okay, they're coming in. OD. TP gets cancelled or something? Oh, yeah, no, here he is. He's shown up, gets the banish out. And they've caught Saberlight first and foremost. This is the priority target, the person you would have loved to kill the most. And he will end up dying in the river. Brawl is there with Moon Meander. Might want revenge onto Soniqs so they get something off the map right now. But unfortunately, TSM FTX being slightly overran here by the side of Tundra Esports. There's going to be the jump. Brawl goes in with the Unleash. Yet again, we see the interaction. Breaks the tree so he can free himself from the bushwhack. But it's not going to matter at the end of the day as Brawl takes him down with the fists. Knocks him out. And will steal some creeps for good measure while he's still in the area.
Yeah, being able to steal this stack is not too bad. First use of the Unleash was getting themselves an extra kill here. Pretty big for Tundra, though, to make that rotation with 9. They went towards the bottom side of the map. They got Skira an extra bit of an involvement in the kill, as you said, shutting down Saberlight. The Saber Chad here on the Panda is just not having a good time. Once he gets that Wraith Pact and has the level 6 up, it's going to be relatively okay for the Brewmaster, though. So it's going to be one of those scenarios where he has a rough time right now, but I'd imagine towards the mid-game he's going to be okay. Big rotations.
Big one's coming to the bottom side of the map. They really want Skeeter, and Tomato's going to find him. That is the best case scenario. Your carry Morphling gets rid of the opposing carry hero, and because they vacated this lane, you might even be able to feed the gold of the tier 1 tower into the hands of Tomato as well. And that's exactly what they want. Saberlight and the crews just scouting out to make sure there's no reinforcements waiting in the wings, but they should be able to bring down this tower as well. But TSM FTX, things not perfect on the map, but starting to look a little bit better. Question, did you remember the exact time when the OG got our Midas?
No, I'd have to go back a little bit. He's got it on cooldown now, so I'd imagine probably about 90 seconds ago.
At least 90. I think he's used it.
Yeah.
He might have used it twice. The reason why I ask is because in several patches, and I do mean stretching back to like 729, the fastest Midas was 6 minutes 57, and then the second fastest was 809, third was 817, and fourth was 848. And I think he might have been faster than fourth. So pretty fast hand of Midas coming in from the 9 Invoker. Of course, he did have some assistance from snaking, allowing him to get that kill onto Brawl early on. And he's going to get really, really big in this game if allowed to progress at the same pace. And it doesn't feel like TSM FTX, because they still have needs to try and get Saberlight into a decent position. They need to push back in the top lane, and Brawl is playing from middle. They won't have that much appetite to keep jumping on the OG. For now, though, they're going to jump onto 33. They've burst down the Visage in very short order. Saksa was cycloned up into the air, could not assist. The sharpshooter will put him low, and of course, Dubu will put him down as we get 2 kills here on the top side of the map. Regrettably, there will be no salvation of the tier 1 tower. It's already been taken, but TSM FTX is not just about that. They want the map control back. They want some space to keep farming on their heroes so they can contest later into the game.
Yeah, they're playing nice and fast, and this is what I talked about in the draft, right? I really like when I see TSM being active on the map and just kind of really abusing the ideas that Moonmian is really able to instill in these guys and just constantly keep moving around and abusing the mechanical players that they have in their team as well. You know, it's something that we don't really talk about all too much, but they've got some really high mechanically skilled players on this roster and just constantly going around the map and doing a lot of work. And you can see now Tundra is responding in kind. They want to try and get this mid-tier 1 tower so they can alleviate a bit of that pressure, but TSM, they're going to come in here and they're just going to kind of face check. They don't have the Panda split. They've got the Golem at least to play around with, but no Unleash. So they are lacking a few of these ultimates, and Tundra are just going to respect them, right? Like, you know, 33 doesn't really have all too much on the Visage so far. He's only got the Vladimir's offering that's built up. 9 still wants to try and build towards this 8th lens going in towards the Aghanim Scepter a little bit later as well. So they're not at the point right now, Tundra, that they feel like they can kind of just go in and abuse these cooldowns, because they still need a few more items. They still need a few more of these extra levels as well. So TSM are just doing a really good job at understanding that Tundra haven't hit this kind of critical mass just yet, where they are the scary heroes on the map. Even though that we don't have our ultimates left, that, you know, Saberlight as well as, you know, Dubu, just them hovering around towards this mid-tier 1 is enough for Tundra to kind of respect that and fall back.
Gotta show some respect. Have to be aware of exactly how powerful your opponent is. They just lost the game to TSM FTX, so they are aware of their strength. And TSM FTX will try and exert said strength as they smoke up. They got success with the Visage kill beforehand. They would love to just continually keep depressing 33, and unfortunately, they're gonna find him. Chaotic Offering gets expended to ensure he just can't run away during the Grave Chill. Had they not done so, he might have actually lived. They missed the initial rebound. So they had to overcommit somewhat to get these kills. However, Fluke, it's okay. They got rewarded by picking up some of these Visage Familiars. And now, because Saberlight was creating space through this mid lane, they should also be rewarded with the tier 1 tower being brought down. Snaking will try and slow this, but a Cinder Brew then dropped on his head. They have a Bushwhack coming out into the rebound combination. He's certainly going to end up dying. Snaking try to help, but TSM say no, as they still want this tier 1 tower in the mid lane and make sure that nobody will stop them.
I really like what Saberlight was doing as well. He saw that he had a few little stutter steps. He just didn't want to get out of the range for Morale to be able to come in with the rebound. So Saberlight just once again min-maxing the game of Dota 2 and getting to a point where they're putting the pressure back here on Tundra. Tomato's had a absolutely free game on this Morphling, so once he starts to join these team fights, it's going to be very, very scary for Tundra. But there hasn't really been too many clashes. It's mainly just been TSM walking around the map, utilizing the fact that they have this mid-master who's got a lot of levels. She's got, you know, high levels in the rebound, high levels in the unleash and the sidekick. So this is kind of the scary part for Tundra, is they're still just biding their time, right? They're still waiting until their OD is able to abuse the fact that he got this very, very early hand of Midas. He has the Aether Lens now. He's going to have this point boost very, very soon. And when they have this kind of Aghanim Scepter combination for the OD, these team fights are going to get very, very hard for them because they need BKBs to try and fight into the OD. That's why Bryle is rushing his. Saberlight's not going to have his early on, but the same thing with Tomato. Yeah, you might be getting this Manta style, but if OD builds up an extra 4,000 mana and drops the hammer on your head, you are going to instantly die. So it's going to be this kind of tightrope that TSM have to walk now, where they're trying to get as much out of the map as they possibly can until Tundra have their 1 or 2 items on their OD as well as their CK.
Speaking of OD, he's in trouble. I think he's been scouted. Yeah, he's dead. Woo! He's so dead. Bye, my friend. Hope you've enjoyed life. They catch him. Ouch. Yeah, that was a lot. Down bottom, Tomatoes. No, unfortunately, they don't have the same ability to just jump him and kill him in an instant, right? The same way that they can do on the side of TSM FTX. They're not done just yet. They're still progressing forward. They're inside the Radiant Triangle, forcing these heroes away. I mean, Snaking was forced to commit Freezing Field just as a dissuading fuel. Like, zoning Freezing Field. What can you do? Game is hard.
Yeah. Game is very, very hard, especially when you're getting run out like this, like playing Crystal Maiden. There's really not much that you can do. Tundra are doing a good job of just delaying the game, right? They understand that this Chaos Knight can get to a point where he can do a lot of work up against the Morphling. They understand that their OD is going to be a natural counter as well. So as long as they can start to pull this map apart and really kind of find small little crevices for them to farm, they're going to be okay. Losing 9 was probably the worst case scenario for them. And that's why Tundra tried to get something out of this with a smoke. But TSM, they're just reading this game perfectly, right? They understand that Tundra, they don't want to fight us. Skinner doesn't want to fight us yet. He doesn't have his Echo Saber, but 9 doesn't want to fight us yet because he doesn't have his Ags. So let's go into the Roche and see if they can get this fight going. Dubu, in trouble.
Dubu's forcing a fight. Tomato's coming in. They haven't killed the Roshan just yet. Dubu will buy back almost immediately. Primal Split is going to be coming out right now. And they are still trying to pursue this fight. They've banished away Bryle. He comes back into the fray. There's Chaotic Offering drop down. Snaking will definitely end up dead because of it. Skeeter now jumping back onto Bryle with the Phantasm Illusions, able to bring him down as well. And 9 drops the hammer down onto the Morphling. And the Tomato Morphling is removed from play. A very awkward engagement. So many spells thrown out, but the impact of the Wraith Pact, yet again, we see it on the side of Tundra. And because TSM FCX chose to come out the Roshan pit, they weren't able to kill it off in time. So just like what we saw in game number 1, where TSM stole a Roshan from Tundra, the exact same thing now happens to them.
Yeah, Tundra did a really good job in this fight, just going in and blowing up Dubu. Yes, he did get the Fatal Bonds off, and I thought that was going to be enough for them to try and get this team fight going, but Skidder did a really, really good job at hitting the Phantasm and just trying to reposition himself. He understands that he doesn't want to fight out against the Morphling straight away, goes in directly onto Bryle, gets the Reality Rift as well as the Chaos Ball, and we just see here, this is the reason why they picked OD. Astral Imprisonment, bam, hammer gets dropped, see you later, Tomato. You are full HP, you're not there anymore, buddy, and this is where it's going to start getting scary for Tomato, because he's going to have to build a BKB. He has to go BKB this game, because if he ever gets Astral Imprisoned again, you can't morph inside of Astral Imprisoned because you're out of the game. And Dubu, there's going to be a dieback for him on the bottom side of the map. And when we start getting towards these item timings for Tundra, that's when they're going to really be able to win these team fights handedly. The OD getting this Aghanim Scepter, Skidder's got his Echo Saber now with his armlet. He does a lot of damage in these team fights. And Tomato, yeah, he's had a free time, but he has to build these items to try and keep himself alive. He's going to go for Lincoln Sphere here. At least we'll be able to get him away from the Ashland Prism and Hammer combo, but I still feel like he's going to have to get a BKB at some time this game here, Snare, because otherwise Nines is going to go every single time, drop the hammer on his head, and see you later, Tomato. If he doesn't kill him, he's at least going to force him to teeth.
I mean, even this Lincoln Sphere that he's queued up for himself right now, you can break it with the initial charge of the Astral Imprisonment, can still get a Chaos Bolt out onto him. They have many, many ways on Tundra. Hell, Soul Assumption, super low cost, very, very spammable, and quite easy to cast onto a Morphling. So it doesn't feel like it's going to provide him with adequate protection. So we'll certainly need to see how he adapts to this. For now though, Tundra, I think their idea is going to be playing around the top side of the map. And there we go. We see a drawing on the map. They're like, we've got a tier 2 up there, y'all. We've got a young outpost we can claim. Let us start choking them in because we are stronger as it stands right now. They only have a solitary BKB in the hands of the Bryle Marcy, and it only did just arrive. But they are still lacking a little bit, unless it's Tomato super committing. Damage is still proving to be an issue, especially with how difficult they found it to deal with this Wraith Pact. 33's positioning on that little Wraith Pact totem has always just been so good. That don't go well. He always tries to make sure that he stays alive the entire time. But here comes TSM. They're smoked up. Don't find an engagement. Brow is leading the charge. Would love to reveal the BKB, but nobody's really showing right now. It's really hard to know who to jump on. Obviously, the smoke will be broken. They finally get the reveal onto 33. Silence as the grave comes out, though. And he's going to stay alive for now. Chaotic Offering. Can it buy enough time for Saberlight? No, it cannot. Skeeter blows him up in the middle of this fight. And now they are still trying to go for further in this. Drag back onto Dubu. They blow him up as well. 33 kept alive by 9 through the Astral. And while they're busy taking the fight, they still manage to take down the tier 2 tower. Tundra just feeling hella strong. And it seems like we have a common theme here, Fluke, across these last 2 games. Whichever team can save their own teammates the most, that's the team that's probably going to end up winning.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you can just see in a lot of these fights like how important it is getting the proper initiation. We saw the jump that came in there from Bryle. He didn't instantly pop his BKB, and then the stone form that came in from 33 on the Visage. Not only does it save him, but it's also the exact same stone form as his birds, right? He drops down, drops an AoE stun. So now it means that Bryle is stunned up for a little bit. 9 is able to get a free few auto attacks off. Then he popped the BKB onto the Marcy as soon as the storm form was over. But oh, that's a huge avalanche.
Gosh, what an avalanche. But the Bushwhack might have been even better. Skeeter in a lot of danger here. He's taking too much damage, but no. Bailed out by Snaking, who drops down the freezing field. Skeeter and Snake still alive right here. Bryle trying to find somebody to catch out. Avalanche will buy more time. Tomato zoned back slightly here. Needs to be careful. Saksa has a Blink Dagger now. They found a Chaotic Bolt onto this Marcy. She is going to end up dead. And there's the Blink Dagger from Saksa. We just spoke about it. He tries to get Tomato, but wasn't able to follow up with the Avalanche. They're chasing through the trees. A little bit of miscommunication between the Astral Avalanche combo. Might save Saberlight's life, but Skeeter and the crew, they are insistent on chasing this Morphling down. Sanity's Eclipse gets dropped down a little bit lower. Skeeter commits his life to be able to try and bring down this Morphling. The Morph did just turn up and go play chest out into the CK to take away the Aegis life, but 9 now shows up as backup. Easily able to clean up Tomato. Even though he was in pretty high strength at that point in time, it does not end up mattering, Fluke. 9 gets himself an ultra kill. Tundra 12k gold ahead. And we are now staring down the barrel of a 1-1 here as TSM feels like they're running out of answers.
Yeah, they straight up just don't have an answer to this OD, right? Like, I think this last pick coming in from Tundra was a stroke of genius. So, shout out to Owie2000, or whoever was the one that came up with this Outwards of Aura for Tundra Esports. This is looking very, very good for them right here. And maybe this is the start of the movement towards the Morphling counter. I feel like, you know, we talked about it a lot coming out of the LCQs. How are these teams going to deal with this Morphling? We've seen Morphling throughout the entirety of today be an absolutely unstoppable machine. We've seen teams try and deal with Marcy all throughout the entirety of today. And I think OD kind of ticks both of these boxes here, Snare. Like, OD is looking like a pretty strong hero here, especially when you're able to get this early hand of Midas up, going towards the 8th lane, going towards the Ag Scepter. And it just forces these heroes to have to play a certain kind of way. And I think if you're playing Morphling and Marcy, you want to have to be able to play the game on your terms. And if you're having to play around things like the Sandy's Eclipse, having to build this Lincoln Sphere in a game that you really kind of don't want to, you don't want to have to go in early BKB either. This OD hero is definitely, I feel like in my books, starting to get the stonks rising a little bit here. And Tundra are playing extremely well around it. I think they did a really good job at just kind of finding their timing that they needed to hit here, right? They understood that they didn't want to fight too early on because Tomato had such a good time, and they just hit that crisp little clean timing, and they haven't taken the foot off the pedal here, Snare, and this is why coming into this series, I don't think I could have pulled these two teams apart.
Both of us went 1-1 when deliberating exactly where we thought this series would go early on, and right now it seems to be the case. This OD, the stocks definitely are rising. We're at a point right now where we might have to buy some OD coin or something like that. Put it on the exchange. Saksa blinking 8, but Brawl should be able to get himself out of here. Shout out Dubu for showing up for the rebound target. This is so scary though, how quickly Tundra can just move onto you. And Saksa, if he tosses you back, he now has a 4-staff as well. Utter mobility coming in from the Tiny here. And TSM FTX, you were mentioning how this Morphling has so many items to go. One thing that's concerning me as well is Brawl. Unlike in the last game, where you look at Brawl and Brawl was actually the win condition, he was technically carrying on the Shadow Fiend. The Pudge that Tomato was playing, right? It's not necessarily the same as this Marcy, where as Pudge, you don't mind being like, well, I'm going to soak up all the spells, jump me, boys. I'm the one that should be the target man. You know, Brawl wants to be active in this fight, wants to be able to move around, doesn't want to just be this mobile punching bag that Tundra just beats up on in the fight. And unfortunately, because Brewmaster is not having the best game, he's forced to be that punching bag, because otherwise Brewmaster dies before he can get off the split. It's complicated, fam. Here comes the smoke from Tundra to make it even more so. Doesn't seem like they'll be able to catch anybody here. I think TSM have found the read. Well, I hope they're about to TP out. Dubu won't be so lucky, but he will at least be the canary in the coal mine to give the signal that everybody needs to escape.
Oh, no, they found Saber.
No! No! Feels bad, man.
Yep.
Saber Chad has had a rough game too on this Brewmaster.
Yeah, he definitely has. And I don't think that's any fault of his own. I think just Tundra understood the kind of issues with this hero in the landing phase. I feel like that Panda, from what we've seen so far, we've seen it paired up with things like the Crystal Maiden, just to be able to try and abuse that Cinder Brew early on. I think it was only level 3 that we saw the Cinder Brew that came out for Saberlight. He had to go for this kind of early Drunken Brawler kind of build to at least try and survive in this lane. But this Crystal Maiden, as well as the CK lane, just has so much kill threat that I don't think you can play Panda as well as Hoodwink into this. And oh, Bryle.
Damn, that's a lot of damage. Will he die here? No way. One more hit, if it critted, would have actually killed him. That's not great. That's not great. That's a painful situation. And because they know that they forced the Monster to TP out, there's no need to play back around this mid area. You just keep the pressure up, force them to come to you, and now you know for a fact that you have the map control around this Roshan pit as well for when the big man comes back.
Definitely in a really good position right now, our Tundra. They're just kind of choking out TSM FTX, who haven't used BKBs to survive, starting to lose members on the awkward sides of the map, and really starting to close this map out. It's starting to get very, very dark here for TSM FTX. And they're trying to figure out a way to get back into this game. I'm just trying to figure out like how they get on and kill 9. He's got a Blink Dagger. He has 2 Astral imprisonment charges. I would love to see him get the Aghanim Shard as well, just to be able to have that extra bit of movement that around in these team fights to make it look cool and also have a little bit of fun for Tundra. But Bryle, Saksa, that's a rare miss from him.
He is. Had that connected, we would have been seeing a dead Marcy most likely. But at the same time, Skeeter just jumps in to make a dead Moon Meander Hoodwink. Already down and out. Dubu dropped a Chaotic Offering, hoping to try and get it some kind of turnaround here. And Saberlight has already used up these Brewlings as well with the split. That does mean that there are 2 huge teamfight spells all of a sudden no longer available for the side of TSM FTX. The Brewmaster split goes back. The Chaotic Offering, Dubu has to drag it to the high ground because he cannot risk the OD peppering it with hits on the Arcane Orb, just given how this interacts with summons. This game feeling more and more difficult by each passing moment here, Fluke, and with all of those resources blown by TSM FTX, you absolutely have to wait for Roshan now on Tundra, right, and just easily steal away the Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, Tundra, they can do whatever they want, right? Like, they've got a whole lot of this map control floating around. I'd love to see what the win probability has been, because before we went into this series, I did say that my Dota Plus ran out, so haven't had time to refurbish it just now. So I feel like this is probably somewhere around about the 80–90% win probability for Tundra.
I can tell you.
It's like 92?
96.
Oh, okay, I was close. I wasn't quite sure if they were going to lock this one out so far, because I know that Dota Plus has been leaning towards Morphling throughout the entirety of this tournament. So it definitely feels like Tundra are in the driver's seat. The only real way that I think I would see them lose here is if 9 gets caught out with like a dieback weird play or something like that. But Tundra, they want this fight.
Weird plays. Yeah. Brow going on to Skeeter here, or vice versa. Not sure who made the initial jump, but I'm sure that Soniqs is the one that tosses him back into the fight. Bryle will die to these arcane orb hits flying in from the 9 OD. My gosh, how much damage was that? It's an obscene amount of damage coming in there, and they tried everything. They even dropped the allied Linkins, hoping that will provide salvation. Turns out not to be the case. Now they're going back middle. They're looking towards Saberlight. 15 seconds until he has access to the split again. So they can't afford to lose him on the side of TSM. And they also just bought out for his Aghanim Scepter, so he lacks buyback right now. But even worse is Tomato. Tomato can't get caught. He'll have a full ultimate dropped on his face by the OD, but that's not the issue. The issue is that when he comes back, he has nobody to save him from the damage of the rest of the side of Tundra. They've killed Tomato. They're breaking through this mid lane of Rax, and OD just feeling oppressively strong. Doesn't have access to this Aegis, of course. That's sitting on Skeeter. He's waiting for access to Blink so he can go forward. Once again, they're going to go out to Dubu. Dubu bursted down by these Phantasm Illusions. They will at least get off the Primal Split. Going back with the buyback. Dubu has access to the ultimate. Can he get close enough for the chaotic offering? He's waddling over. He's doing his best. Finally, the spell will come out with the full usage of the big fatal bonds, but unfortunately they just don't have damage. Bryle has ended up losing his life as well. Saberlight tossed out into the fray. He just has to watch himself lose his life slowly but surely. And as they clean this one up to grant Skeeter an ultra kill and grant Tundra a team wipe, they have earned themselves a game 2 victory and tied up this series 1-1 against the side of TSM.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of stroke of genius that comes out there from Tundra Esports. I think this draft was immaculate. They had a lot of